Kia ora and haere mai to my channel. Do you want to be just a tad more self-sufficient? Learn how to save seeds. Our family is far from being self-reliant, but in a way we are self-sufficient. In green beans, for the last 4 years at least. To be truly self-sufficient in green beans though, that includes saving the seeds to resow year after year instead of buying it. Growing enough to eat fresh in season and to freeze or however else you want to preserve it for winter months. And because I only have a small garden to grow in, if I get fresh beans on a special, I will still buy some to make carrot beans, or also known as curry boinkies, in jars as a special treat. Then along came the runner bean. Okay, I know it's been around from 2000 BC in fact. It originated in Mexico and Guatemala, but 2024 was my first year growing it. I've just always been intimidated by it. No idea how to use it in cooking, but like I always do over winter, I visited Kuanga's website and King Seeds website, and I just fell in love with these seeds and thought, you know what, it's time to give them a go. Now maybe I was so blinded by their beauty that I was not thinking clearly, because I sowed my runner bean seeds on the 21st of August. At the same time I start most of my tomato seeds, which is end of winter here in New Zealand. We still get frost up to the end of October, so nothing that represents summer goes out in the garden before the first weekend of November. On top of that, runner beans are a climber. You can't just keep putting them on and hope for the best. So I had this clever idea of using some of my 13-liter pots, put some sort of trellis system in them, and then I planted out my seedlings on the 1st of September. I have a bit of undercover space that I refer to as my kitchen garden, with some trellises, but it is open at the side, so although it is frost free, it can still get pretty cold in there. Besides, those trellises had some peas growing. And if you ask your phone, AI will tell you that runner beans need warmth to grow. They are tender plants that prefer warm soil and frost-free conditions. In fact, that goes for all beans, except broad beans. Now once planted out, these scarlet runners stayed exactly where they were for about a week. Then I moved them into the garage for 3 more weeks. And closer to the garage door they went, to get more sun and to sort of harden them off at the same time. The garage door opens through the day and we close it at night. Beginning October, we moved them into the kitchen garden area, and by mid-November they found their permanent home. They are staying in their spots, no feeding, and they did struggle a bit during our dry spell, but since we've got the 2000-liter water for the garden again, they really picked up. Flowers are getting less, but so many pots. Except for these 2.5 dried seed pods. This big one was ready in December, but I left it to dry for seed. That's when I started to do some homework. If you want to save your own seeds of runner beans, you came to the right place. I'll show you how not to do it, because it clearly states the following in Kuanga's Save Your Own Seeds booklet that I showed you at the beginning of this video. Number 1.
You need to have at least 16, but preferably 32 plants.
I have 6.
Number 2. Best time to sow beans to save seeds from is in October and November, mid to late spring.
I sowed mine at end of winter. Does that count?
Number 3. Runner beans cross-pollinate, so you need some isolation distance between species.
I don't have any distance between my Scarlet Runner, Painted Lady, Cobra, except for the Takamatwa runner bean, but the same bees could still visit them. So, here's my thinking. Number 1, I have these 5.5 seeds. I am going to sow them in spring and see if I can grow an early runner bean. Maybe I started something, who knows? Only one way to find out. And 2, so what if they cross-pollinated? If nothing else, I will have amazing looking seeds. With an added bonus, they will still be edible. Let's recap. I was sowing only 6 Scarlet Runner Bean seeds because the Kwanga seed packets had only 6 seeds in them. I recommend, now that you know how many seeds you need to save seeds from, look at the amount of seeds included and buy accordingly. Although for the price I paid for 6 seeds, I don't think I would have bought more than 1 packet. So what I'll do is I'll focus on getting these strains of seeds stronger by sowing and growing only 1 type per year. We know, according to the booklet, that runner bean seeds will stay viable if stored correctly for up to 3 years. And just so you know, I don't treat my cobra as a runner. I treat that as a normal climbing French bean. Well, if you want to know whether I accidentally created an early Scarlet Runner or reinvented the Scarlet Runner wheel, please click the subscribe button and join me in spring 2025. And no, I will not start them that early again. Or will I? So let's end with this. Funny enough, I couldn't find any poems about the Scarlet Runner Bean, although they have some of the most beautiful flowers I've ever seen. You don't like these beans, I hear you say? I beg your pardon. They're really hard-working and such a stunner in the garden. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, ka kite anō.